You don't. You don't.
Relieved that I'm actually kind of relieved that Montesoro's ain't here because even one more game.
Yeah, brain can't handle it. I was gonna say you're playing pretty well for somebody that tired, by the way. But
Thanks, I guess.
we'll get into that
Okay.
in a little bit. Here we gotta wait for DeathRoW to. Oh, hello. Welcome back.
All right. All right.
Well, it's time for our final segment. As always, pretty much just a simple interview. I'll ask you guys questions about what you did in the game, and I'll give you a chance to plug anything you want, whether it be your own stuff or somebody else if you want to draw attention to them, or an event. Obviously, Red Bull going on right now. It's good fodder for that. First of all,
Yeah. Maybe we should plug in Red Bull so they get a few more views.
not that they need them.
We do them a favor and shit.
But if you've got like any particular matches, for example, that you've seen that you want to let people know that they should check out, that is a good thing to do as well. But first of all, given this, thanks to everybody who did show up and were willing to put up with the relatively blurry. I'm sorry about that. I know it's not the same quality as it is when Zero streams, but relatively blurry solo casty stream. One Red Bull is going on. You guys are fantastic. Massive hearts to you. But before that, otherwise, let's go ahead and talk about the games. So first one was played on Overgrowth. Since you guys haven't played each other before, go ahead and let us know how you like to approach this matchup and anything you were doing specifically tonight. So we'll keep with the same pattern from before. DeathRoW, you go ahead and go first.
All right. Well, on Overgrowth, my game plan was to go 2-racks aggro, and it actually went more in my favor than I thought it would. I mean, I canceled his Nexus, which was actually the main thing to do, but then I also delayed him so much. Like, he got like an 8-minute Nexus or something like that. He was so delayed, and he tried to all-in me afterwards. And that's when I knew, oh man, I have this game in the bag.
I actually, once I canceled that Nexus, I was sure either I go all in now or nothing's gonna happen, so I never tried to get a Nexus again. I tried to do some warp prison shenanigans, but the warp gates were like 5 seconds too late from me warping in 3 more zealots, and I just didn't have enough pressure in your base, and from then it was just downhill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that was a pretty weird game.
The first warp prism that got in your base should have done way more, but like, yeah, I just warped in 3 zealots instead of 6 was like I was supposed to.
Yeah, I should have done more damage, but the thing is, like, in my clan, there's this one guy, he's Diamond Protoss, and he always does this War Prism thing, and I've just gotten used to it. You feel me?
It did look like you were...
When you did it, I was like, oh man, I gotta get ready for this.
You did look like you actually knew what to do. Like, there was units there to respond and everything, and you had even just a few SCVs pulled to help defend it. It looked very... Yeah, it looked like you were used to doing it, basically.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, though, is that the Nexus cancel actually did surprise me slightly. Only because there was actually enough energy on the Mothership Core for a Photon Overcharge. So
yeah, that was a mistake.
I almost thought you were going to just let it finish, but...
Yeah, the correct thing was, like, at that point Terran doesn't have any upgrades, they can't focus down the Nexus. I was supposed to let it finish and cast Overcharge. Then I should have force-filled my ramp and not let him go up there and basically stop his attack dead, but tired mistakes.
Yeah, I know, it's an easy mistake to make. Not to mention, it is kind of a judgment call that you got to make there. So, like,
yeah.
It's not...
That was really bad on my end.
It's all percentages. Like, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So that's not something I criticize necessarily. But still, if it's tiredness, it's tiredness. What can you do?
Nah, that was straight up a bad call on my end. I shouldn't have cancelled that Nexus. Straight up bad.
Panicked. That's the thing.
Yeah. I panicked. Usually I don't panic, but meh, whatever.
Yeah.
Shit happens, yo.
Yeah.
Well, given that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward what happened in that game. So, King Sejong Station goes quite a bit longer, in fact. So, let's talk about that game. Obviously, you guys have already played each other at this point. You got a little bit of a feel for each other. So, what do you do going into this game, DeathRoW?
Well, I didn't really know much considering the first game was basically pretty short. But when I did go into it, I was thinking, alright, I'm just going to keep dropping him with factory units, and I'm going to see how that works. and it didn't work out the greatest for me, but it did do some damage, like, in the mid-game. When I started dropping, it did a lot more damage than in the early game. Like, my first 2 Hellions that came into his base, they picked off, like, 4 probes,
Yeah.
which...
Yeah, I think it was
which
4
is
or 5.
alright, I mean...
It's okay. Yeah.
But it should have done more.
Yeah, he was definitely... I think Experta's build was definitely set up to actually be able to respond to that pretty well, though. So, like...
Well, I saw you get the early gas, so I was like, okay, please go Reapers, please go Reapers. I was kind of banking on you not going Hellions because I wanted to pressure you early to make sure I get my expand up fast, and unfortunately I wasn't as prepared for Hellions.
I gotta say, even given that, I thought your reaction to that was really good, especially the force field at the back of the base.
Yeah, the force field really saved my ass in there, so...
Yeah, that was a nice touch. A very nice touch.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, so in the later stages of the game, I was thinking, oh man, how do I wasn't sure about how to out macro like Protoss on King Sejon's station especially. But when I saw him coming through the back, I thought, okay, this is my chance. I can flank him. So I put 3 mines in the back, and it actually did a lot of damage to his army.
Yeah.
And then I just pushed in, took a few, like 7 SCVs, and I just pushed forward.
My plan with going through the...
Experta, go ahead.
My plan with that was, I was like, okay, I'm giving him a chance to flank me, but if I manage to push through here, if I get the high ground, now not only do I destroy his second base, but I cut off his army from his reinforcements and I can pick off barracks units when they spawn. So if I get to that spot, the game's over. So I decided to risk it there.
Yeah, that was a pretty big gamble. It could have went worse for you because I could have flanked you from 2 sides.
Yeah. And I had no force fields for that fight. I didn't have the gas because you kept me on 2 bases too long.
Yep.
Should have went with the big baby style. You really should have went with that. I was considering it, but I'm like, man, I don't want a long micro game. I'm too tired, so I decided to do something a bit more regular with Colossus.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I was expecting High Templar out of you, but you didn't go for it, which was pretty surprising. No gas?
Pretty much.
Man.
A Protoss on 2 bases has no gas.
Yeah, to clarify that further for anybody who's curious, basically when you're at 2 bases, you can afford a second tier tech and gateway units, and then maybe an upgrade or 2, but you can't get another set of high tier tech units until you get a 3rd base. Like, you just can't. You start having to sacrifice things. Either you don't get upgrades, or you stop getting the Colossus entirely to do it. Or basically, it's something like that. So if you still keep seeing Colossus or a lot of Stalkers, their gas is not there anymore.
Yeah, pretty much with all the mines, you're forcing me to go Robo, and since your Terran upgrades are a must, like you cannot skip the upgrades. It's impossible to skip them. So yeah, I was forced to go Robo and upgrades by that point, which I thought you were doing it intentionally.
I was very scared that you were gonna go like 1-1-1 on me, 1 Zealot, 1 Militia Core, 1 Stalker, because that would have done some damage.
Yeah, that was basically the plan, but I figured, man, that's a bit too risky. Let's just play it safe, get a base. But then you started dropping me all over the place, and it fell apart. My brain just couldn't handle all that stuff.
Yeah. I think it was definitely the right choice, actually, given the condition of your opponent. So, like, it happens. What can you do? But anyway, with that pretty much covers the games. So, yeah, I'll turn it over to you guys. Do you have anything you would like to shout out?
Alright, I'm seeing Biedric here in chat. I want to give him a shout out because he's Protoss and he gets really mad at Terran. Or shout out to Biedric. And then, yeah, that's basically it for me.
Alright.
I don't know why he gets mad at Terran, but okay. Don't worry, bro. Terran's not that hard once you figure it out. Oh. I'm just a bad example.
Oh. Like, I'm not sure whether this is like a burn or you're like trying to be nice. Probably both at the same time. Icy hot. That's what that is.
Well, everybody take it the way they wanna take it. So okay.
I'm just teasing you. Nah, it's cool. What about you? I know
Okay.
you've got a bunch of things, if I remember right.
Well, first of all, as usual, I wanna thank you, Omega, for setting all this up and actually casting alone this time.
Meh.
Much love to you, man. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for inviting me.
Mhm.
And second of all, I wanna shout out to my YouTube channel, the Drop Dead Gamers. We actually got a new banner today, so go check that shit out, yo.
Cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Also, sorry, I forgot something very important. I wanna thank my opponent for stepping in as a replacement in the last moment. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for
Yes.
showing up.
Thank you very, very
Whoa.
much.
Whoa! Alright. Thank you. Thank you. It's pretty fun to play against a East European.
I'd definitely like to do it again, basically because both I'm sick of Zerk and I want revenge, yo. Grrr.
We actually could set that up just just because I think Monosaurus is kind of done. I don't think he's going to be coming back, unfortunately. But at least for a few months. But anyway, yeah, I'll just formally wrap this up here so I have a place to actually end the VOD when I go mess with it later. But thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you guys for playing. We'll see you guys next time. Unfortunately, the schedule did say that Shadver versus Probe was probably going to be next. It's starting to look like that's not going to be the case. I'll keep you guys informed on Twitter if that changes. But for now, have a nice night.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Bye,
smooth
guys.
ending. Yeah.
Time for
Smooth
bed. Time for bed, yo.
Oh,
Peace
yeah.
out.
Yeah, man.
I'm done.